Title: Echoes of the Midnight Travelers. In the humid heart of the Niger Delta, along winding rivers shrouded in mist, lies Mokpo, a small village deep in the Orobo lands of southern Nigeria. The villagers lived simply, relying on the forest and river for sustenance. But there was one rule they all followed without question: no one ventured out after midnight. For when the skies grew dark, the midnight travelers were said to walk the land, spirits of those who had gone before, forever bound to wander. Young Agogo had heard the tales since he was a child, passed down by his grandmother while they sat by the fire. Her wrinkled hands would gesture to the shadows beyond their thatched hut, her voice a hushed whisper as she spoke of the lost souls and restless spirits. But like many stories from the past, Agogo dismissed them as mere superstition. He was ambitious, a young man with a thirst for adventure, and he dreamed of exploring lands far beyond his village. One sultry evening, just as the sky turned an ominous shade of purple, Agogo's friend Ejiro dared him to sneak out after midnight. "Come with me," Ejiro challenged, his eyes gleaming. "Let's see what these so-called midnight travelers really are. Don't tell me you believe the old tales." Against his better judgment, Agogo agreed. They waited until the village had fallen silent, and with only the full moon lighting their path, they crept into the forest. Their journey was filled with soft rustling sounds, the hum of insects, and the occasional call of a night owl. But as they walked deeper, the air grew colder, and an eerie quiet settled around them. Then, just as the moon reached its peak, a chilling echo filled the air, a strange, rhythmic chant, a language lost to time. Agogo's heart pounded as he turned to Ejiro, but his friend's face was blank with terror. They realized they were no longer alone. Silhouettes appeared, faint outlines of figures cloaked in tattered robes, their faces shadowed and obscured, yet somehow familiar. These were the midnight travelers. Frozen in fear, Agogo recognized one of the figures. It was his grandfather, lost to a river storm decades before. The old man's ghostly figure approached, his hand outstretched, carrying something wrapped in cloth. Trembling, Agogo accepted the bundle. When he unwrapped it, he found a small carved stone, an ancient artifact from the village shrine, a relic said to protect the land. With a voice like rustling leaves, his grandfather spoke, "Guard this, grandson. For the land spirit is fading, and soon, the midnight travelers may not remain in the shadows. Our village is in peril, and only the chosen can save it." Before Agogo could respond, the figures faded back into the trees, leaving only a faint glow in the forest. The chill vanished, and the familiar night sounds returned. The journey back was a blur, but as they reached the village, Agogo felt the weight of his responsibility. He understood that the midnight travelers were not mere tales, they were guardians, spirits keeping watch over the village, hoping to pass on their wisdom to those brave enough to listen. From that night on, Agogo dedicated his life to protecting the land and its spirits. And as he grew older, he would pass down the tale of the midnight travelers to the next generation, urging them to listen, to remember, and never to forget the echoes of those who had come before.